来都说，男人有泪不轻弹。
They say that men don't cry easily, but sometimes reality pushes you to the edge. It truly feels like life is just too hard, unbearably hard. I earn very little each month. My child needs to go to school and attend extra classes, not to mention all the other household expenses, plus taking care of the elderly at home. Right now, I'm carrying a debt of 10,000 yuan. It feels like year after year, I work myself to the bone just to repay debt, but somehow the debt keeps growing. I often lie awake all night, unable to sleep. Tell me, when will I ever be able to pay it all off? Being a man is truly too hard, too hard. When I come home, my wife scolds me, saying I'm useless and that I don't earn enough. She's always cold toward me. She says other men are capable and make good money. Look at you. Sometimes, when I come home with injuries from working in the factory, my wife doesn't even care. Being a man is truly too hard, just too hard.
失业1年半了。
The reason? I'm simply too old. When I open job search apps, all I see are suggestions for food delivery, courier work, house cleaning, or security jobs. At 41, it feels like these are the only jobs people believe we're capable of doing. If being in your 40s means you're no longer accepted in the workplace, what are we supposed to do? It truly feels like I've been slapped in the face. Really slapped. At 33, I lost my job, and I had accomplished nothing significant. There was no breakthrough, no miracle in my life. Unable to tolerate a toxic environment and manipulation from my boss, I left the company I had worked at for 9 years, just last year. After becoming unemployed, I survived on unemployment benefits and some savings, taking on small gigs just to make ends meet. But with a child to raise and a mortgage to pay, the financial pressure felt like a mountain crushing me. Yet still, I couldn't overcome the mental barrier to return to the corporate world. And of course, given today's job market, even if I wanted to go back, I wouldn't have the opportunity. Losing my job made me realize something. My ability to earn money is seriously lacking. I regret not learning a new skill earlier. If I had, maybe I wouldn't be in such a tough financial situation now. These days, I feel anxious and completely lost. I stay home doing housework and taking care of my child. I've started to learn new skills again, but the lack of clear progress only makes me more uneasy and insecure. I have no idea what my future holds, but what can I do? There's no medicine for regret in this world. We all must pay the price for the reckless decisions we once made. And yes, I really was quite handsome.
做好准备，要过一段苦日子。
So handsome, even more than that. And this outfit? Pretty decent quality too. Goodbye, my dear husband. My husband has been unemployed for 4 months now, and he's currently taking food delivery gigs with ride-hailing apps. Just to earn enough to support our family, we all need to be mentally prepared for hard times. In the first half of this year, even the Ministry of Finance issued a rare warning: be ready to face difficult days ahead. They emphasized that the current economic climate is not just bad, it's extremely serious. The economic winter may have truly arrived. Let's take a look at some data from the first half of this year. 3.1 million small businesses have shut down. 400,000 restaurants have gone out of business. The number of urban unemployed youth has exceeded 23 million. The national unemployment rate has risen to 5.3%. Meanwhile, the number of college graduates this year reached 11.79 million, an all-time high. A recent survey shows that the employment rate for holders of general master's degrees is only 33%, a drop of 17 percentage points compared to last year. The old joke about graduating into unemployment is no longer funny, it's becoming a reality. Even having a valuable diploma no longer guarantees a job. What's more concerning is that unemployment might just be the beginning. If you are a worker, the best thing you can do right now is to adjust your mindset, preserve your energy, and be ready to adapt to whatever comes next. Today, we'll be discussing a topic that's both familiar and deeply challenging: how to cope with a career crisis, especially in middle age. This is a phase in life when many workers face compounded pressures from work, family, and society. Whether you're 34, 40, or 50, you might feel like your job is stable at the moment. But if one day your company decides to downsize or if your industry undergoes a major shift, your income and sense of security could be shattered instantly. This might be a painful truth, but it's also the most realistic one. We hope that through the following insights, you'll find practical guidance to better prepare for life's uncertainties. Step 1. Accept temporary setbacks. If you're unemployed and unable to find your ideal job right away, you may have to accept low-income work, such as food delivery, courier services, or taxi driving. To get through this period, you might need to lower your expectations, but this is the reality you're facing, because first and foremost, you need to meet basic needs like food and shelter. Step 2. Stop drifting in uncertainty. Whether you've lost your job or are still working, give yourself a pause, at least a week. This pause won't harm you. On the contrary, it can help you clearly see the direction of your future. The more uncertain you feel, the more you need to avoid panicking. Don't rush to seek help from outside or blindly chase shortcuts and secret formulas. Most of those only waste your time. Step 3. Reflect. This is especially important for those in their mid-career years. Take a serious inventory of the skills you've accumulated over the years and think about how to repurpose or pivot them in your favor. For example, if you worked in advertising, can you use those skills to manage budgets or support other teams? If you worked in recruitment, can you transition into career coaching or job training? If you worked in development, can you independently complete projects? Can you handle orders or clients on your own? This is crucial. You must develop the ability to complete work independently and turn it into income. Step 4. Subtract unnecessary distractions. Cut out all non-essential socializing, friendships, and entertainment. Tell yourself, for the next 1 to 2 years, I need to focus fully on learning and preparing for the future. This phase may be painful, but it is a necessary step for personal growth. Step 5. Reevaluate your network. Look around. Is there anyone you know who is doing well and might be able to help you? If you lack resources or savings, relying solely on yourself might not be realistic. In this case, see if friends or family can offer any opportunities. Maybe someone can lend you a bow and arrow so you don't have to paddle a tiny boat across the ocean alone. Most importantly, stay optimistic and communicate with your family. A career crisis isn't just a financial problem. It's also a mental and emotional challenge. Always remember, family is a place to share and support one another through hardships. Don't keep everything bottled up. Talk to your spouse or loved ones. Their companionship can become a powerful source of strength. Always hold on to this belief. Every difficulty is an opportunity for growth. Every challenge can be a stepping stone toward building a more stable and resilient future.
你知道那些被裁员的90后生活过得有多迷茫吗？他本是互联网的高材生。
Do you know how lost many post-90s workers feel after being laid off? He was once a top internet industry talent, but now after getting laid off, all he can do is stay home and pet his cat. From the moment he got the layoff notice to completing all the offboarding procedures, the entire process took just 3 hours. That's it. By the next day, he didn't even need to show up at the office anymore. Think about it. When you first join a company, even the probation period lasts 1 to 2 weeks. But when they let you go 3 hours. The girl in this story is named Yi Tong. After graduating, she joined an internet company as an operations manager. She thought she had found a stable foothold, just a quiet life as a regular salaried worker. But after only 2 years, she was laid off during a company downsizing. Now she's living in a shared apartment with a friend. She used to be the earliest one to leave home for work. Now she's become someone with nowhere to go. Sure, she's still updating her resume, but it's not because she's excited to work again. She's doing it just to do it. She's sending out resumes just for the sake of pretending she still has a plan. Even if she got accepted, she says she probably wouldn't go to work. Right now, she's part of a small WeChat group with other unemployed friends. They call it their laid-off squad. And every morning, the first message in the group is, "Anyone find a job yet?" The reply is always no. That's just how hard it is to find work now. Besides staying home, Yitong sometimes meets up with others in the group to eat together and talk about the anxiety of not having a job. They debate which matters more, money or happiness. Some say, if your job makes you truly unhappy, would you still be willing to keep doing it just for the money? But others like Yitong say, even if I'm unhappy at work, if the salary is high, I'll still do it. Because that's the money I need to survive rent living costs. I have no choice. Oh, Maybe different people simply choose different ways to live. While some sit at home feeling lost, others try to start over like Xiao Jie, a former programmer. He once worked long hours at an internet company. When he got laid off, the hardest part wasn't the job loss, it was the break in routine. That commute code repeat life may have felt robotic, but suddenly losing that rhythm, he said it made him feel like he was already dead inside. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
长期的这样下去，我觉得我已经死掉了。
He had been doing work that he didn't believe in completely just for the sake of survival. Forced to carry out tasks he had no passion for. And after doing that for so long, he felt like part of him had already died. Maybe this round of layoffs was actually a kind of relief, the starting point of a new life? To escape the endless grind of big city life, he left Beijing and returned to his hometown to start an internet business with a childhood friend. But without any startup capital, he had to make a hard decision to sell the car that had been with him for 3 years. He had bought it for over $28,000 and it had only 500 miles on it, but now he could only sell it for around $1,200. That hit hard and his funds dried up quickly. But beyond failed entrepreneurship and uncertainty, others are still struggling with company disputes. He himself had worked 8 months without pay, only to be laid off in the end. Now he could only try to reclaim the unpaid wages from the company. To do it legally, he hired a labor lawyer. Although he had plenty of evidence in the employment contract, the company had recently switched legal ownership to a dumpling shop owner downstairs, which made things even messier. Compared to a colleague who resigned in May and waited 8 months to finally get paid, he knew getting his own money back would be extremely difficult. That's why he says labor arbitration feels ridiculous. Even though it's you who's owed money, you're the one who has to lower your head and beg them to pay up. As for how he endured 8 months without salary, his answer was, "You've already bought the ticket, you've already gotten on the train, you keep hoping that maybe one day it'll all pay off." Maybe that's naive, but at the time he had already seen the company as his second home. After arbitration failed to recover his wages, he filed a request with the court for forced enforcement. Meanwhile, Xiao Jie, after failing in his hometown startup, returned to Beijing to begin the job hunt again. That confusing and lost phase, it ended on the 88th day of unemployment when he finally landed a job. Now he's once again choosing to stay in Beijing to work.
现在时代变了，跟以前不一样了。不要说什么找工。
Times have changed. Things are no longer like they used to be. Don't talk to me about finding a job with a future. Let me tell you, 90% of the jobs out there today have no future. That's just how harsh reality is. Back in school, teachers and parents kept asking about your life plans. Now in job interviews, HR still asks the same thing. What are your plans for the future? Plans? What plans? It's all just for show. You take it seriously, and what happens, you can't even find a so-called future-proof job, so you just keep searching endlessly. In today's job market, just landing a normal job is already hard enough. And you're still talking about planning your future. Forget it. If it makes money, do it. Stop being picky like this job has no future, I don't want it. That one has no career path, I'll pass. Then someone tells you to take the civil service exam and you believe them. But there are over 10,000 people competing for a single spot. Everyone is fighting tooth and nail. What's your advantage? What makes you think you'll make it? And even if you do get in those civil service or government jobs, at best, they'll just help you maintain a basic standard of living. If you think passing an exam is your ticket to wealth or climbing the social ladder, keep dreaming. Your number one priority should be to figure out what you really want and how much you're willing to sacrifice for it. First, secure a source of income. Make sure you can survive. Then start thinking about the rest.
现在很多找不到工作的年轻人慢慢成为老鼠人。
These days, a lot of young people who can't find jobs are slowly turning into what we call rat people. What does that mean? Rat people sleep at 6 a.m. and wake up at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. The very first thing they do after waking up is open Boss Jippin, a job hunting app, and start scrolling through job listings, checking to see if anyone replied to their resume. After browsing job posts, they switch to watching short videos. Once that's done, they start feeling hungry, so they order delivery. And of course, in the delivery notes they write, "Leave it at the door. Don't knock." While waiting for their food, they scroll through another hour of short videos. When the food arrives, they eat while binge-watching a TV series. After eating, they feel sleepy again and take a nap. This nap usually lasts until 7 or 8 p.m. That's when the rat person reaches their energy peak. Then comes the real binge. They enter full short video scroll mode, sometimes scrolling non-stop from 8 p.m. until 6 or 7 a.m. the next morning. So basically, a rat person goes an entire day without seeing a single living soul. Many people think this lifestyle is dull and meaningless, but honestly, for them, this is the most comfortable way to live. If you're still watching, comment 1, so I know you're still with me.
兄弟们啊，今天跑上外卖了，现在收工了， 第一天
Brothers, today was my first day delivering food. I just finished my shift. I registered a few days ago, bought a scooter, mentally prepared myself, went through a bit of an inner struggle. And finally, this afternoon, I forced myself to log in. I completed 10 deliveries in just over 3 hours and earned about $670. After over 4 hours of riding, I only made $670. It brought up a lot of feelings. About my education, it's not that high, not that low. High enough to seem impressive, but low enough to be worthless in today's job market. Maybe the only advantage left is the name on my diploma, Beijing Normal University. But in the end, I still chose this path. Back when I told my family I wanted to deliver food, they tried to stop me. Why not find an office job? Why not take the civil service exam? Why not get a stable position? But to be honest, that life felt meaningless. I used to work in a company in Beijing. It was boring, not something I liked. Sure, you could slack off, drink, waste time at your desk. But that life, just sitting in an office, sheltered from the wind and rain with a stable paycheck each month, that's not meaningful either. Of course, food delivery doesn't pay as much, and in terms of social status, people will judge. They'll ask, what does your kid do? And when they hear he's a food delivery guy, there's always some disapproval in their eyes. But now that I'm over 30, I've realized everyone lives their own life. How much someone else makes what kind of lifestyle they live that has nothing to do with me or you. Even your closest friends, they might earn tens of thousands a month. But so what does it matter to your own life? Me delivering food, does that affect them? Not at all. And about the question of, is it shameful to be a delivery guy? No, not one bit. If earning money through honest labor is shameful, then this entire society is broken. If people really believe certain jobs are beneath them, that some work has no future, then the problem lies with society, not with us. It's the system that's flawed. Income distribution inequality across industries. How can that be blamed on individuals? That's nonsense. Today was my first time delivering. I used to think, like many others, that delivery work was simple, just pick up and drop off. But I quickly learned that's not the case. Veteran riders, the order kings. They handle multiple orders at once. You need to time each delivery just right, plan your route precisely. That takes skill. Today I got bold and took 2 orders at once. Normally I only accept 1 and go offline, but I tried 2 and ended up late on both. The second order, I was literally racing against the clock. Barely made it, just a few minutes late. It made me realize the best delivery riders have intuition, speed, and planning. That's a kind of intelligence. It's no less impressive than business acumen or professional skills. This is a profession. It requires real skills. And I genuinely respect those veteran riders now. As for me, I studied a lot, went to college, worked in companies. Maybe I wore nicer clothes, but deep down I'm still a simple guy. Book smarts don't define you. There's a saying I like. The loyal ones often come from rougher backgrounds. The coldest are the well-educated. I'm not saying that's always true, but today something really touched me. While I was delivering, my battery ran out completely dead. My scooter just stopped. I was still several kilometers from the destination. I had to push the bike. There was still 1.5 kilometers to the battery swap station. No doubt this delivery was going to be late. I had pushed it for 200-300 meters when another rider approached me. He asked what was wrong. I told him it was my first day and my battery was dead. Without saying a word, he stopped his bike, told me to remove my battery, and said, "Hop on. I'll take you to the swap station." I was honestly so moved. He took me there, helped me change the battery, then brought me back to my scooter. He didn't ask for anything in return, just helped me wholeheartedly. Thank you, brother, truly, I hope you get rich. Even later during my shift, I ran into other delivery riders at intersections. We'd nod, smile, maybe chat a little. How many deliveries today? Hang in there. That feeling of solidarity, like a little community, like a brotherhood. Honestly, I've never experienced that in an office. Rarely, if ever. Anyway, today was day 1. Just wanted to ramble and share a bit. See you guys next time. Take care.
接下来可能真的没有什么所谓稳定的工作了。我这2年看了个报道。
Honestly, moving forward, there may truly be no such thing as a stable job anymore. I read a report the other day. This year, nearly 12 million students are graduating from college in China. One state-owned enterprise posted 1,700 job openings and received over 120,000 applications. In this hyper-competitive and rapidly changing era, the real question is, what can we actually do to make our jobs a bit more stable or at least live with some dignity? Here's my advice. If you're still doing those repetitive low-skilled jobs, like being a security guard, an auxiliary police officer, or working on a factory assembly line, it's time to stop. While you're still young, go learn a trade. Master a real skill. Because right now, AI and automation are accelerating the elimination of low-skilled physical labor. It's not just that jobs are hard to find today, they're only going to get harder to find in the future. This trend will only get worse. So take a look at fast-growing emerging industries. AI and big data, artificial intelligence, short video platforms. These are all promising directions worth considering.
你是什么学历的
？985高考语文单科状元。
What's your educational background? I was the top scorer in the Chinese subject in the 985 college entrance exam. So what's your take on the fact that even 985 university graduates now can't find jobs? Honestly, it's not just 985. Even among my friends from Tsinghua and Peking University, many of them are struggling to find suitable jobs. Take Chengdu as an example. A lot of straight-A students work hard for years, finally graduate, and their first job only pays about $700, $1,000 a month. At the end of the day, I think it's because the overall environment has changed. Those big tech companies everyone used to fight to get into now, they barely have any openings. But every year, the number of graduates keeps increasing, especially in recent years, with a huge surge in people pursuing master's and PhD degrees. They all end up crowding into the same job market. Still, I don't think people should panic too much. Your starting salary doesn't define you. What matters is whether you have real skills, whether you can create value for the company. If you can do that, it's only a matter of time before you succeed. These days, people online keep saying degrees are depreciating, but I don't think it's that degrees are worthless, it's that a degree alone isn't enough anymore. Studying is important, but blindly following the crowd is dangerous. A lot of people went on to do masters, then PhDs, just because everyone else was doing it. They believe the higher the degree, the better the safer. But I think that mindset is dangerous in itself. The true value of education is to improve yourself, not just to rack up more degrees or chase diplomas. I know friends who are really clear-headed. They know exactly what they want. Some went straight into the workforce after undergrad. Some pursued further studies because they want to do research. Some started their own businesses from scratch. Some even just set up a stall on the street. But all of those are valid choices. What society really needs are people who can solve problems and create value, not just bookworms who are only good at taking exams. What do you think? Life in China today is no longer the rosy dream of upward mobility. It's an uncertain reality where even a university degree no longer guarantees a stable life. According to data from China's Ministry of Civil Affairs, in the first quarter of 2025 alone, nearly 12 million students graduated, but the hiring rate among many large companies dropped by over 30%, compared to the same period last year. Meanwhile, on the job site, Bosch Japan, over 100,000 people applied for a single civil service position, turning even the safest path into a brutal survival game. The more you study, the harder it is to find a job. The more urbanized life becomes, the more isolated we feel. Life in China is now pushing its young generation into a spiral of crisis, directionless, disconnected, and disillusioned. If you had to choose again, would you go to university or learn a trade between someone with real skills and someone with a degree? Who would you hire? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the China Social Trends channel and turn on notifications to follow more raw, controversial, and sometimes uncomfortable stories about life in China today. Thank you for watching until the end. The truth deserves to be heard.